presenter is Laura Crist, and Laura did her practicum with Jamie Marshall. And her site is the Kids Education Yes program, in Great Falls, Montana. And the name of Laura's presentation is A Community Approach to Education in Great Falls, Montana. So I'll let you take it away, Laura.
Thank you so much, Lee. I'm just going to pull up my screen. And okay. Okay, can you guys all see my screen? All right, thank you so much for coming. I had the wonderful opportunity to work with Jamie Marshall in Great Falls, Montana, and the Kids Education Yes group. We look at community coalitions and approaches to being able to improve support for our public education and our schools. The reason why, let me just move this. The reason why we do this is because we believe that children are an important component of society, but they are more vulnerable to poverty. They're more vulnerable to different situations. And therefore, it's really important that we provide the public services in our schools, which improve not only the children's well-being, but also our overall community well-being. We in Kids Education Yes seek to increase awareness of what our schools are actually doing, what is working for our children, and what can be improved upon. In my research, I found that it was really interesting. Public education and healthcare contribute to income redistribution. So similar to ways that we help community residents who are struggling through Medicaid and WIC and CHIPS and different things like that. All of those programs are an income redistribution that comes from state programs, usually run by DPHHS. And our public schools are very similar. Constituents have the opportunity to be able to vote for levies, to be able to fully fund our public schools. And we have to go out and ask them to do that. I'm sure you guys have all seen that. And then the state funds about 80% of the schools. State funding, and then the local residents are responsible for the 20%. So Kids Education Yes helps inform people about the reason why we need them to vote to fund our schools. Understanding factors that influence the elections and how people decide to vote is really critical, we've found, in being able to garner support for children and our public schools. So Kids Education Yes, just a quick history update. It's a nonpartisan community coalition founded by community members in Great Falls back in the 1990s. Due to the state funding formula and how it's set up, again, the state pays for 80% of our public schools, and the local districts are responsible for asking their community to be able to provide that top 20%. And this is because of equity laws that we have in the state of Montana to be able to provide equitable education across the state. And so the goal is that everybody's going to be within this 80 to 100% range to be able to get what they need. Kids Education Yes prioritizes school funding because we believe that public schools play a vital role in benefiting not only local businesses, our neighborhoods, and our communities. Having well-run schools is a point of pride and a point of community connection for many places. We advocate for our students, teachers, and staff by highlighting their stories, achievements, facts, and needs. So we decided for my project, Jamie Marshall and I were doing some data and watching our community and seeing what we needed to do, and realized that Great Falls Public School had not done a community assessment for 12 years. And so we approached the district and asked if we could partner with them in creating a community assessment, which just had 6 quantitative questions and demographic questions, as well as 2 qualitative questions where we could ask what people were proud of for their schools and where they thought we needed to see support. And so I created a short little video that's 30 seconds long. So you guys can see what we learned. Oh, try that again. All right, a little bit more about this assessment. So we approached the school district in September about this assessment. And something that I've learned as I have worked on this project with Jamie is that community coalitions and community assessment work take a lot of time. And so we started actually last semester in creating this survey. We developed it with cabinet members. We shared it with different business leaders to make sure that we had questions that were quick and easy to understand. The goal was that this survey could be completed in less than 2 minutes. It was shared with parents and students through flyers that the district sent out. We have just under 10,000 students in Great Falls. And so we distributed flyers to all of our students, and then we put up posters in 30 community locations and promoted it on the school website and through our social media channels. Again, our goal was to get as much participation and community buy-in on this survey as possible so that we could really look at the data. And then we did a joint analysis with cabinet members, and Jamie and I followed up with a deeper analysis with members of Key to really look at themes. You'll see this flyer. This is a flyer that I created. It had a QR code that people could scan. It had websites and different information where we were just really trying to get the information out and have people participate as much as possible. We had 1,507 responses from Great Falls, which we felt was really remarkable, and we were able to generalize that those responses because of the number that we had. And so we felt like we had a really good response. 45% of them originated from parents, and then the rest of them came from community members, teachers, Great Falls Public School staff, and students. As we looked at the assessment through some thorough analyzation, we found 3 main themes. The first was that Great Falls Public School, or Great Falls as a community, values the connections and relationships that come within our public schools. They value teacher to student relationships, they value student to student relationships, student and staff relationships, and teachers and administrator relationships. And they felt that this strengthened our community and made it a better place. The second theme that we found was that people appreciate high quality teachers, and they want to be able to support them so that they can have the best education for students in Great Falls. They want academic resources, they want high academic achievement in Great Falls. And third, and finally, we found that the community is really focused on student-centered learning. So this is going to be providing individualized learning experiences for students, whether it's through internships or IEPs or gifted and talented learning or remedial learning, but that Great Falls wants this individualized component within our schools. And interestingly, that individualized component costs money. So we have to get people to vote to support our schools to be able to provide all of these amazing things that they value. So these were the significance of our findings. There is this focus on student learning, as I talked briefly about on the previous slide. Changing in our public schools is happening, especially post-COVID, where we're seeing more mental health issues. We're seeing more disruptive classroom behaviors, and we're recognizing that students really need more individualized learning. And this takes money. So the other important aha moment we had as we were sitting with cabinet and with members of Key is that without sufficient funding, these priorities will be compromised. So in the past 4 years since COVID, the federal government has pumped millions and millions of dollars into our public schools, and the state of Montana is no different. We each received large amounts of money. And if you are paying attention to any of the news outlets in Montana, especially the Montana Free Press and the Daily Montana, they're highlighting some of these funding cuts that are coming to districts across the state, where programs are being closed, schools are being closed, and different things. And so unless we see some major changes in not only the state funding formula, but also in local buy-in and support for our public schools, we will continue to see the values and priorities that people have around schools be affected due to lack of funding. So to help spread this information, one of my products was to create a community handout that we could give when we do community presentations. So Kids Education Yes partners with our district, and we do community presentations at the chamber, at the Development Authority, at the Rotary Club and Kiwanis Club, and faith-based groups and different things to be able to help people understand what's happening with our schools in our community. And so this is something that we created, and we hand this out at community events. We work with Great Falls Public Schools through community presentations. We do monthly steering meetings where we have members of the cabinet come and meet with us, as well as city leaders and community leaders, parents, and retired teachers, school board members who come, and we talk about how education is going in Great Falls. And then we promote and share this information through social media channels and blogs and community presentations. So one of the focuses that I wanted to have with this experience was really being able to hone in on the social marketing idea of being able to help initiate change in our community through awareness and education. And so I came up with a social marketing strategy of promoting a legacy of strong public education, explaining how public school funding works, and letting people know that educational cuts are coming because of this large increase in federal funding, and then that federal funding will be gone by the end of this year. So these were some of the ideas that we were able to come up with. We're actually working with a videographer in being able to make videos and stories that we can then share through social media channels and different events that we have to be able to inform people so that they can be educated voters when it comes to levies. With the goal of preserving our priorities. So we want people to learn how public schools are funded in Montana. We want them to get involved, volunteering at their local schools to just understand how schools work now. It's different if you haven't been in school for 20 years. You should go to your local schools and see what it's like. Become involved and share your experiences. And then, of course, we want people to be able to champion and advocate equitable funding for the state of Montana to be able to prioritize the educational outcomes for our students. So in conclusion, I learned so much about community coalitions, that they consist of local members addressing community needs through collaboration, focusing on various issues and involving multiple sectors for long-term solutions. There were so many opportunities that we had to be able to experience growth. I did personally in learning how to work with different stakeholders and being patient with the timing of working with a group and how to be able to get things done. But the strength that we have is united stakeholders in being able to support public education for students in Great Falls. And the opportunity or the challenge we have now is being able to get that information out to voters and have them open up their pocketbooks and to be able to support our students. I welcome any questions, and I appreciate you coming, and a huge shout out to my mentor, Jamie Marshall, and for all she does to help me grow. And that's it.
Laura, thanks so much. Great job.